All right, so are you ready to dive into some Formula One driver market talk?
Always ready.
Okay, cool. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into all the rumors and speculations surrounding Mercedes' potential driver lineup for the 2026 season.
Yes.
We've got some interesting expert opinions to sort through,
For sure.
and it all kind of centers around two key figures: George Russell, whose contract is up for renewal,
Yeah.
and Frederick Vesti, the young hopeful looking to break into the big leagues.
Yeah, you know what makes this really interesting?
Right.
Is that Russell's future could have a direct impact on Vesti's trajectory.
Oh, absolutely.
Like if Russell stays with Mercedes,
Right.
it might actually delay Vesti's promotion to a full-time race seat.
Exactly. It's like a domino effect.
Yeah.
And then you got to factor in that Russell's contract situation makes him a highly sought-after driver in the market right now.
Yeah, totally. He's young. He's consistently outperformed Lewis Hamilton.
Right.
And he's proven that he can handle the pressure of driving for a top team.
For sure.
If he keeps going like this, he's going to have plenty of suitors.
Mm.
Red Bull, for example, is rumored to be interested if Sergio Perez doesn't meet their expectations.
Oh, man. Can you imagine the drama if Russell joined Red Bull and teamed up with Max Verstappen after their controversial incident in Abu Dhabi?
Oh, my goodness.
The rivalry would be
through the roof.
Through the roof. It would be insane.
I know. It would be must-watch TV.
Absolutely. So that's definitely a scenario we need to unpack.
Totally. But before we dive into all that,
Yeah.
let's rewind a bit and focus on the other piece of the puzzle. Frederick Vesti.
Yeah.
His performance in the upcoming season is absolutely crucial.
Right. He's got a lot to prove.
He does. He's highly regarded within Mercedes.
Mm,
But he needs to translate that potential into results on the track.
for sure. So what do you think? What does he need to show to really make a statement?
I think he needs to demonstrate that he can handle the step up to Formula One.
Yeah.
And that he has the speed and racecraft to compete at the highest level.
Right. If he doesn't perform.
It could really impact Mercedes' decision-making.
For sure.
When it comes to their 2026 lineup,
Totally.
they might be more inclined to keep Russell,
Right.
providing a stable and experienced presence alongside Lewis Hamilton.
It's almost like Mercedes is holding two high cards.
Yeah.
And they're waiting to see how the game unfolds.
Right.
Before deciding which one to play.
I love that analogy. That's perfect.
I try.
Yeah.
And to make things even more complicated,
Oh, yeah.
there's the Verstappen wild card.
Oh, tell me about it.
If, for any reason, he decides to leave Red Bull,
Right.
it throws absolutely everything into disarray.
That would be a bombshell.
It would be insane. Because Verstappen
Mhm.
is arguably the most coveted driver in Formula One right now.
Yeah, I think so.
So if he became available, every team, including Mercedes, would be fighting for his signature.
100%.
That's where things get really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Would Mercedes be willing to let go of either Russell or Vesti to make room for Verstappen?
That's a million-dollar question.
Right? That's the million-dollar question.
Hmm?
It all comes down to Mercedes' priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Do they prioritize loyalty to their young drivers?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they make a ruthless, calculated move to secure a championship-winning lineup?
Let's see what the experts are saying about all this.
So some experts believe that Mercedes will stick with their current lineup. They emphasize the investment they've already made in Russell and Hamilton.
Yeah, for sure. They see the value in continuity, and they believe both drivers have the potential to challenge for the championship.
Right. And there's also a sense of loyalty to Hamilton.
Right.
Given his massive contribution to the team's success over the years, you can't underestimate the Hamilton factor. He's a legend of the sport and still a force to be reckoned with on the track.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But wouldn't the prospect of pairing Hamilton with a proven champion like Verstappen be tempting for Mercedes?
I mean, it's a tough one.
Right.
On the one hand, you have a proven world champion in Hamilton and a rising star in Russell.
Right.
But on the other hand, the opportunity to sign Verstappen doesn't come around every day.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a statement of intent.
Mm-hmm.
A signal that Mercedes is going all in for another era of dominance.
Yeah, it would definitely turn heads. And think about the psychological impact of a move like that. The pressure it would put on their rivals, knowing that Mercedes has arguably the strongest driver pairing in Formula One history.
It would send shockwaves through the paddock for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
But some experts do say that bringing Verstappen in could create some internal friction.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if, he and Hamilton clashed over leadership roles or race strategy.
Right. Team harmony is so crucial in Formula One. A clash of egos could derail even the most talented lineup.
Totally. We've seen it happen with other teams, where the
Yeah.
drivers just can't get along.
Yeah, and it just brings the whole team down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing act. Mercedes needs to weigh the potential benefits of Verstappen against the risks of upsetting the apple cart.
For sure. So it's a tough decision. But what about Vesti in all this? Where does he fit into Mercedes' long-term plans? Well, most experts seem to think that Mercedes is very committed to Vesti's development.
Right.
They see them as a potential future star and have invested a lot in his journey through the junior ranks.
Yeah, he's shown some impressive results in Formula 2.
Right. He's got speed. He's shown consistency.
But the jump to Formula 1 is huge.
Oh, it's massive. And, it's interesting to note that Vesti's driving style is pretty aggressive.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which could be both a strength and a weakness. He's not afraid to push the limits.
Right.
But he also needs to learn when to be patient and avoid taking unnecessary risks.
Yeah, for sure. That's a key lesson for any young driver. It's all about finding the right balance between aggression and calculated risk-taking.
Totally. But let's be real for a second.
Yeah.
The pressure on this kid is immense.
Oh, yeah, being a Mercedes junior driver.
He's under a microscope.
Right.
Every move will be scrutinized. But that's the reality of being in the Mercedes driver program.
Yeah.
They demand excellence.
Right. So if we zoom out and look at the big picture here, what are the key factors that will determine Mercedes' 2026 driver lineup?
Well, I think there are three main things to consider.
Okay.
Performance team dynamics and long-term strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So first and foremost, they need to evaluate the performance of their current drivers. Russell and Hamilton.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if Russell keeps improving like he has been,
Right.
and Hamilton maintains his high level, it's going to be hard to drop either of them, even for someone like Verstappen.
Exactly. And then there's the question of team dynamics,
Yeah.
Will Verstappen fit into the existing team culture?
Right.
Or would his arrival create tension and disrupt the harmony?
Right. So Mercedes really needs to do their homework here.
For sure.
Understand Verstappen's personality,
Mm-hmm.
his leadership style, how he interacts with his teammates.
Exactly. And then finally, there's the long-term strategy.
Like,
Mercedes needs to think about their plans for the future beyond 2026.
Totally.
Do they see Vesti as their future #1 driver? If
Yeah.
so, when do they plan to promote him to a race seat?
That's a good question. These are all things that Toto Wolff and the Mercedes management team will be thinking about over the coming months.
For sure.
And, the driver market is just notoriously unpredictable.
Oh, it is.
A surprise retirement, a sudden dip in form, an unexpected contract negotiation.
Anything could happen.
Exactly. It could completely change the game.
That's the beauty of Formula One.
Right.
The unexpected is always lurking around the corner.
Yeah, that's what keeps us fans coming back for more.
Totally. So let's do a thought experiment here. Let's put ourselves in Toto Wolff's shoes.
Right.
You're the team principal of Mercedes.
I like it. So you've got Russell performing at a high level. You've got Hamilton still delivering consistent results. And you've got Vesti waiting in the wings, eager to prove himself. What would your ideal Mercedes driver lineup be for 2026?
Wow, that's the million-dollar question right there. So many things to think about.
Right.
I mean, do you go with experience and stability,
Yes.
a Hamilton-Russell pairing?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you take a gamble on Verstappen?
Right.
Create a potential super team, but risk messing with the team's chemistry?
Yeah.
Or do you just go all in on the youth movement?
Yeah.
Promote Vesti and show faith in your young driver program.
It's a tough one. Each option has its pros and cons.
Totally.
I think you can make a case for any of them.
For sure.
I think what's so fascinating about this is that it really shows where Mercedes is at right now in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
They're in this transition phase, moving away from the Hamilton era,
Right.
figuring out their long-term strategy.
100%. And their decision about the 2026 driver lineup will be a clear sign of which direction they're headed.
For sure.
Will they play it safe and go with what they know? Or will they go all out and try to build another dynasty?
Yeah.
Or will they trust the next generation?
It's going to be so interesting to watch it all play out over the next few years.
Oh, absolutely. I'm on the edge of my seat already.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. We covered a lot,
We did.
analyzed the different scenarios, the expert opinions, right? All the things that will influence Mercedes' decision.
Yep. We talked about the Russell dilemma, the Verstappen wild card, the Vesti variable.
Right. It's complicated.
Yeah.
No easy answers.
Nope. Formula One never is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what makes the driver market so captivating.
for sure.
All the speculation, the shifting alliances, the unexpected twists and turns.
It never gets old.
It's what we love about it. So while we wait to see what Mercedes decides,
right,
let's keep talking about it.
yes.
What do you think is the best driver lineup for Mercedes in 2026? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let's hear it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Formula One deep dives.
We'll be back soon with another one. Until then, keep those engines revving.